Ace Man.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Good. Sorry I'm late. I'm going to get the dog leashed up and take him for a walk, and we'll talk.
Cool, no problem. No, I mean, when I'm the king of podcasting, I might be a little bit late too, so it's all good. And plus, you know, we all know you have a million things going on through the course of your days.
I do. I was just talking to Matt the Porcelain Punisher finally about those million things. Now, if my phone's a little choppy, sometimes it's tough to get out of the house with it. But once I hit the road, once I start walking, I'll be fine. So let's give this a shot. First, we get Philly cheesesteak leased up. Phil, let's go for a walk. Come on. He's up.
I think this is an exclusive right here.
Yes, walking the dog with the Ace Man and Cassius.
Is that the newest show on Carolla Digital?
I think we just formed it. Now I'm going to take my doggy bag because he takes big dumps.
You're a responsible owner.
Yes, I am. And I'll take my doggy leash, and I'll put it on Philly, and we'll hit the road, man.
I love it.
So go ahead, Cassius. How's it going for you?
It's going great. It's been a year since we last spoke. We were coming up on my 17th birthday at the time. You know, I can imagine a lot's changed for both of us. So how are things going over at Carolla Digital?
Good. It's an ongoing, daily. You know, it's kind of like working on a farm, I guess. Like, you know, you got to kind of get up every day. You got to till some soil. You got to get out there and milk some cows, like slaughter some hogs, like clean up some hog crap. Like, it's just basically a daily get up and go to work kind of thing for me. There's no other way to describe it.
Right, fair enough. It's almost like, you know, this is your job, so, you know, I can definitely understand. But at the same time, it must be difficult to stay so motivated like you do. You have so many shows on the go. I mean, you've made a lot of money. You've had a lot of success. What's the motivation? I don't. Now we're stepping out the door and on to the highway. You know, it's funny, people have a lot of, like, what motivates you to work or to do so many podcasts, or, I had to tell my assistant, Matt the Porcelain Punisher, finally there about 10 minutes ago when I was on the phone with him, like, I thought I taught him better, but he's like, and I'll circle back to your question, he's like, Thursday, I want you to meet with one of the producers for the new Spike TV show. Mm-hmm. So you're doing Ace on the House, and then you're doing Garrigus and Reasonable Down podcast with Mark Garrigus, and then you're doing CarCast, and then I'll put him in at noon, and then you do your show 1, and then you do a whole bunch of shows with Drew afterward. And I'm like, Matt, I know there's technically a window in my crazy schedule that says nothing from noon to 1, but I will use that time to eat lunch, standing up, go to the other shop, talk about the documentary and how all that's going on the film side, and then go do 1,000 more podcasts. So take this producer guy you want to meet with and have him meet with me on Friday when things aren't as crazy. The problem is people... You know, people start looking at your schedule, and the schedule gets crazy, and all they do is look for one opening. So it's like, well, he can swim underwater to the end of the pool and back, but he pops his head up eventually. And someone will go, oh, good, when he pops his head up, push it back down again and tell him to swim some more. And you're like, no, I'm popping my head up so I can get some air. Right. So I can go back under and then keep swimming. So let's not fill everything up. For me, you know, there's a certain element of when you have kids, I guess I feel like my parents could not prove they were alive. Like when my parents leave us, and that'll be shortly, no one will ever know they were here. Right. There's nothing, they're not leaving anything behind. I honestly don't know if I would show up at their house and look through their belongings, because I don't know that they have belongings. Right. And it's not just monetary thing, they're not going to leave anything behind. From a monetary standpoint, they're just not going to leave any proof that they're alive behind. There is no plaques or books or songs that were recorded on DVD. There is no documentaries. There's no nothing. I'll stare at my dad's flugelhorn when I want to remember him.
That's his legacy.
His legacy is a tin horn. And I just feel like now with kids, like, hey, I want to write a book. I want to make a documentary. I want to have some TV shows. I want some stuff they can look at. Also there's an element for me, which is if you buy really expensive race cars and you want to go race them, you got to work.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just agreed I'm signed up for a race in Austin, a DAF 1 track, and a vintage race. I gotta tow my car 1,300 miles each way.
Wow.
From where I am. I got a diesel dually Ford F-350. That thing's going to be gassed up 10 times,
Right.
We got to get the car to the track. The race is $800 to do the race, We got to tow the car back. We got to get hotel rooms.
Big production.
The crew, it ain't cheap.
So basically, you seem to treat everything you do almost like it's business, right? And that seems to be a good approach because obviously it works.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if it works so much in personal relationships, but it works for me. I mean, yeah, business-wise, I find out this vintage race is taking place at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, and so I put a show on sale in Dallas and a show on sale in Austin, and then I could pay for the trip.
Right.
To go vintage race. But yeah, then it just makes for a pretty busy weekend.
Definitely. Hey, what would you say is your favorite live show to do? Would it be stand-up or the live podcast at this point?
It just kind of depends. It's a little bit of a coin toss. It depends, because stand-up, if I go to a city where we haven't been in a while or even ever, and I know I can just go in there and do whatever material I want, and material that I've got a high comfort level with and pretty familiar with. And so even though I'm going to be burning a lot of calories and I'll be doing a 95-minute set, I'll know the material well, and I won't have that feeling of, well, where are we and what are we doing?
Right.
So it's a little easier. The thing about the live show is, that I do think about it like, hey man, these people are paying $50 for a ticket, and you're going to stand out there for 90 minutes. They don't want to see you pull up a stool and kind of ruminate, like, hey, what's going on in the news? Jeez. Ooh, oh, debating. Wow.
How about Trump,
Out, man. Yeah, what about Trump? So I feel like a little bit of pressure to kind of get up on your feet. Obviously it's going to be 90% improvised, but you got to get up on your feet and really burn some calories, because I don't want people showing up and kind of going, I wish you would have done stand-up.
So it must be a lot of pressure, and that is a valid point, is that a lot of what you do on stage is a lot of improv material. Is that something that you think that can be learned from people who are trying to learn how to do stand-up, or are you born just with the skill to do improv?
I think obviously some people have an advantage over other people in terms of quickness of wit and sort of ability to think on their feet to some degree, although for me, it was something that was kind of born out of necessity, because I didn't learn how to read for a very long period of time, all through school. So I had to kind of talk up on my feet and kind of, I didn't spend any time reading comic books. I was sort of up on my feet talking versus trading Pokemon cards.
Right.
But I do look. I think
probably no different than an athletic endeavor, and that you have to have some skill, you have to have some physical coordination and some physical strength to play a game, and then after that, you've got to really practice and learn your technique and get your comfort zone and so on and so forth. So I don't really break it down to anything that's sort of mystical. I've always been funny. I've always had a good sense of humor. I've always liked to talk and share stories and tell jokes and things of that nature. But, what are you, 18 now? 17 and 7/8?
Yeah, 18 in a couple of weeks.
All right, so now imagine yourself from now until 2028 not making a penny doing comedy and basically just digging ditches on a construction site.
Yikes.
Or hauling drywall or lumber. That was my life. So I don't know how much of my God-given, believe me, it didn't matter how funny I thought I was. From now, remember, until later in 2028, you're just going to be driving a pickup truck and digging ditches. So if you want to close your eyes and imagine that future, that's essentially the way I lived, and in poverty as well. So I can, I had a sense of humor, but who cares, right? I mean, it's sort of, I didn't see anything. I always knew I had a sense of humor. I didn't know that meant that I was going to be able to buy a race car or an old Lamborghini. I just thought it was kind of good. You're funny. You'd be the funniest guy on the construction site.
So you didn't see this translating into an actual, career. It was just kind of a personal skill you had.
I knew that people made money doing comedy. I knew there was such a thing. I just knew, I also had a feeling that was not going to be me. Mm-hmm. But I knew I had enough ability to do it. I just didn't ever think I was going to get the chance to do it.
Right. And when you were a kid, correct me if I'm wrong, but were people always telling you that, that you wouldn't amount to anything, or was it more of a just not supporting you kind of thing?
It's funny because I think people glamorize it a little bit. Like, oh, my dad said, you'll never amount to anything. And that then gave the person the motivation to say, like, I'll show you, Dad. One day I will be something, and you're going to eat those words, And I wish my dad and my mom would explain to me that I've never amounted to anything, because then I probably would have said, like, I'll show you. They didn't say anything to me, which was sort of, quietly suggesting I wouldn't amount to anything. But it was actually, I think it was kind of worse in my family, which is, I think honestly, if you would have said to my dad or my mom in, 1983, you think Adam will ever amount to anything? They would have went, who's Adam? And then they would have went, your son. And then they would have went, oh, I don't know. Why are you asking me? And they would have went, well, it's your son. Don't you care whether he amounts to something? And they would have went, oh, I never thought about it. He'll be fine, I guess. I don't know.
Wow.
Anyway, we've talked about this way too much. Let's talk about muffins or baked goods or something.
Flutes.
My parents, I don't think, look, they would hate it if they heard me saying this, but I don't know what was going on in their hearts, but what was going on in their hands, their wallets, and their minds was, I don't care if either one of my kids amounts to anything or doesn't amount to anything. Just move out, would you please? And the deal was kind of like, I don't think, no one ever told me I wouldn't amount to anything. No one told me anything. I mean, they never had a discussion. I mean, I wish my dad would have gone all jazz singer on me, and you can Google that. The dad wanted the guy to be a rabbi, but the son wanted to sing.
Before my time, possibly?
It's all before your time, punk, but still can look it up.
No, I wish it was a situation where my dad wanted me to join his law firm, but I told him comedy was in my blood.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that. My dad didn't give a shit what I did, just as long as I did it outside of the house. And my mom didn't give a shit either. And they would say that, look, here's the deal. If you said to my parents, look, do you want Adam and your daughter Lauren to be successful? They would have went, oh, you mean if you're just asking me? Like, yeah.
Right.
But not if it means saving for college or carpooling or doing, making sandwiches or anything.
As long as they have nothing to do with it, they want you successful.
Well, I mean, it's like saying to me, how do you feel about the homeless population in LA? And I'd go, oh, yeah, I wish they could find a house and get proper attention. Oh, okay. So you want to go down to the soup kitchen on Saturday? I'd be like, no, I'm watching college football.
Yeah.
So, but if you ask me, I'll give you an answer, which is I wish them well.
Fair enough.
Let's fast forward a little bit to the point where you did become successful.
Everybody's watched podcasting turn into such a great medium. There's so many listeners. There's now sponsors that are jumping on board. Since you started the Adam Carolla Show, how have you seen podcasting change from a business standpoint in particular?
Well, I've seen the ultimate change, which is it didn't exist as a business.
Yeah.
There was no model. There wasn't a model for the existence of a podcast in terms of a business model, and now there's a business model, which is attract X number of ears and then get advertisers to give you money and then sell their product and get paid, which is, the same as TV. I mean, most TV and radio, look, it's radio. I never looked at it, the oldest form of this is essentially radio. I mean, obviously there's print, but, radio's been around for 100 years. And the deal is somebody talks, somebody attracts an audience, and then they get a sponsor to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I understood that. And so my feeling was, what's the difference in the talking, whether it's, on the computer or it's on the radio? It doesn't matter. Once you talk, once you attract an audience, then who cares?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that. No one else felt it, 8-9 years ago. Now they understand it.
Right. Okay, fair enough. So people have now just picked up on it. And I think the good thing for you is that you obviously had so much experience in broadcasting before that, it translated to the podcast. For somebody looking to start broadcasting, now in 2016, do you think it would be better to aim for radio, terrestrial radio, or to aim for podcasting for a long-term plan?
Long term, I would probably go into the aquarium cleaning. I just think I think there's a steadier living out there. They're not really paying anything in broadcasting these days, and as far as terrestrial radio goes, those paydays are gone. But in podcasting, there's the danger of getting paid nothing.
Yeah.
So in terrestrial radio, you can get paid a little, and in podcasting, you can potentially get paid nothing. So I'm not sure exactly what advice. Listen, here's my thing with everybody. I talk to people all the time who have nothing to say and tell me they want to do a podcast. And for them, I would say, why bother? But if you showed me a young Jimmy Kimmel or young Adam Carolla or whomever, I'd probably say, hey, that's probably a good idea for you to get into podcasting, because you do have something to say, or terrestrial radio or whatever it is. So, it's kind of case by case for me.
Right. Yeah, so you can't really give a blanket statement for everybody, is what you're saying. It just it depends on the talent, the interest, and if you're passionate for it.
Yeah, and I would say the same about the NFL or the NBA. For most people, I would say, find me a 15, 18-year-old and
tell me they want to play in the NBA, I would tell them it's probably a bad idea. But if you find me 15-year-old LeBron James, I'd probably have a different opinion about it. So if you show me the talent and show me the drive, then I'll have a different answer. If you're just somebody who, was on Road Rules on MTV season 27 and now you got nothing to do, so you're thinking about podcasting, and you just look good in your underpants, I'd probably tell you, why bother?
I'd agree with you.
No, that's a lie. I'd probably tell you, good luck, I believe in you. And then I'd walk away and go, why bother?
And forget about it. Adam, I thank you so much for your time. One last question for you here before I let you go. You often talk about how much you hate living in LA, a lot of the downsides of living in LA. Can you tell me your favorite part about living there?
Well, I'm walking my dog right now, and it's, 71 degrees outside, and it's nice on the street I'm on. And better part is I got invited this Saturday to go to Seth MacFarlane's birthday party.
That's awesome.
And if I lived in Houston, I probably wouldn't be able to make it. But now I'm going.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. So there's a perk to living in LA.
Fair enough. Ace, thank you so much for your time. It's very, very much appreciated. What do you got on the go for today?
A couple of podcasts and work on the new documentary, The 24-Hour War, which is going to come out real soon. So we're trying to figure out when we're releasing the trailer, and just it's pretty much pods, docs, and then car stuff and house stuff.
The usual, right?
The usual.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, listen, thank you again. And on my 18th birthday, the first thing I'm going to do is go out and buy a case of Mangria. So I'll post my review on that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Cassius.